Molly Carmel, fiercely devoted to your freedom. Listen, I'm always going to be talking about planning. I'm going to be talking about planning like my life depends upon it. Because when it comes to your long-term relationship with food and having the best one humanly possible across the board, any data, any experience, any whatever is going to be like planning. As the Marines say, you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And boy, do people have issue with this. I have had talks upon talks I have talked myself blue in the face when I'm talking planning because people take such issue with it. And the number one thing that people really take issue with is like this idea that they're not going to get to be spontaneous. And I always just think about the chaos of back in the day when I was deeply in my hateful, terrible, abusive relationship with food and how what my spontaneity looked like. And it would usually be I was out to dinner, I didn't have a plan, I looked for the thing that was the most harmful to me on the menu, then I'd go out after, binge on a bunch of stuff, or even worse than that, I would go to a party without a plan, or my plan would be something I'll figure it out, hoping for spontaneity and just to be normal, another topic for another time. And I would go to the party. This is, I think, worse than the other one, right? I would go to the parties with sort of the best intentions. Whew, and I would leave that party like a tornado hit my soul. You know what I mean? Because, one little brownie bite begat 3 cookies, begat a little bit of whipped cream, E-I-E-I-E-I-O. And the thing is, without planning, it's how are we ever going to find our path to freedom? It's the most important thing that you can do. And I'm just not sure that spontaneity is reason enough to not plan when, even if we have a loose plan, right? Even if we say something I don't know what I'm going to do at this party because I'm not willing to call ahead and I'm not willing to bring a platter of food that's safe for me, all sorts of things I love to talk about when we talk planning. But even if it's something as simple as we go to the party and we say, by no means will I be having any sugar, any flour, any artificial sweetener, and I'm just going to have one drink or no drinks. I'm going to have just one plate of food. I'm going to stay away from the food. These aren't the kinds of plans that take spontaneity out of it. I haven't even talked about the actual food that you're eating, my love. So what I'm going to say about planning is what I'm going to say about almost everything that I talk to you about, which is something is always better than nothing, and something always leads us to more. As usual, I was the biggest hater of planning in the world. I can access this feeling over 10 years later of I don't want to plan. That's so terrible. I totally get it. But the thing is, today, it brings me so much comfort. It brings me so much security. And the truth is, I've actually grown accustomed to leaving things like parties or dinners that I plan for feeling so good. About myself, living in integrity, hopeful that my relationship with food can flourish. You have no idea, when we're sitting here and we're balking at this idea of I don't want to plan, I want to be spontaneous. Can I beg of you something? Can you just review if you really mean that? I don't think you do. I think if you looked at the data on times that you didn't plan or on times where you wing it, I don't think those situations turn out very well, at least in the beginning, before you have a foundation, before you're truly committed to your breakup with sugar and flour. And it's what's the worst that happens? You have a little bit less fun? fun and a little bit more esteem and self-love and feelings of hope and security, I think this is one we really, really, really need to think about. And I think it's one we need to talk about over and over and over again. Don't worry about me. I love being a broken record, especially when it comes to something so important like planning. And just one more thing. Can you tell me any relationship in your life? Like, do you just walk into a work meeting that you're running without a plan? I loved this one. You know, a science teacher in my Facebook group said, I have never walked into my classroom without a lesson plan. Why in the world would I walk into a tricky situation with food without a plan? There's lots of different ways to wrap your head around it. There's lots of different ways to plan, dependent on your willingness. But let me tell you something, just relying on willpower is not going to get you the life that you deserve with food or with yourself. So let's talk about it. Let's think about it. I want to hear everything that your heart and your soul and your mind is saying to you about planning. And I check the comments like a mad person, so leave some below. The other thing I would love if you do is like this particular video and subscribe so that you are the first to know when the new videos come out. I'm obsessed with you, so know what is going on with me too. What's the worst that happens? You delete the email. Or maybe you don't. Maybe you just become a loyal viewer of the YouTube channel. In any case, I want you to know I'm here and I'm rooting for you always.